Cards and Comic Show.
Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I want to talk about the 2000s and why we don't seem to be as excited as a hobby about cards made from 2000 to 2009, 2010 as we are about the 1990s. And there's a lot of reasons, but I'll go into, some of the ones I think are the most valid. But it's also very important to remember that I lived through both periods of collecting. I started collecting in 1986, and by the 2000s, I had graduated college and was working a real job and making somewhat a living. And, even I, as a collector, don't remember the 2000s nearly as fondly as I remember the 90s. And, we'll go into, again, the reasons why I think that is. But first off, I want to show you just sort of like the difference in pricing and kind of the cards that are expensive from each decade. So here is a list of highest price cards from the 90s that I found, and I just did an eBay search, and here's kind of what came up. And what I want you to think about here is the fact that the number one card on the list at the point that I ran the list was a non-rookie, non-auto, non-game used card, which is this Flair Brilliance number 24 King Griffey Jr. in PSA 10. Brought close to $60,000. And obviously with fees and taxes and everything, it is $60,000 whoever bought it. And then as you scroll down, you see a platinum medallion, Kobe Bryant. Again, this is a non-rookie card, number to 99 for $35,000. You see, a Jordan auto, so that's an auto. But then you see a Jordan, gold stars. You see a Molten Fusion titanium number to 50 Griffey for $30,000. You see Ultra Scoring Kings. Then you see a Kobe rookie auto, Kobe rookie refractor. So you do see a lot of non-auto, non-rookie cards that are parallels or cool inserts. But here's a good example of a football card. A John Elway PSA 6, not even a 10, green PMG for $22,000. Again, a Scoring King, a Masterpiece, Allen Iverson, again, a game jersey card, but then, Peyton Manning. This is, I think, a secondary auto card. But again, Z-Force, Michael Jordan, Rave, PSA 10 for $16,000, Big Man on Court. So these are all, inserts. Hoop Spams, again, for $15,000. Flair Stars for $15,000. So again, Precious Metal Gems, Hideo Nomo for $15,000. So a lot of the cards that are selling in the 90s for big money aren't rookies, they're not autos, they're not game use. They are parallels or inserts of really cool design of big name stars. Go to the 2000s, and right off the bat, Tom Brady was the number one sell for $50,000. A little bit under the Griffey, which is interesting. But it's a rookie PSA 10. But if you go through the list, rookie auto, rookie auto, rookie auto, rookie auto, rookie auto, rookie auto, rookie auto again, rookie auto, rookie auto. First card here, this Michael Jordan, just auto jersey card. Okay, it's the first non-rookie auto, but then right back into rookie auto, rookie auto, again, Jordan auto. But the theme here is that over and over that you either have two main subsets of cards from the 2000s that are very expensive. It either is rookies and rookie autos or autographs of GOATs. That's your two big subsets of cards. And again, inside of this subset is the 2001 Bowman Chrome set with the Pujols auto, the Ichiro card. And so the beginning of Bowman Chrome autos also started in this time period. So, what I'm going to give some other examples here, but just think about this is that one subset of cards, which is the 90s cards, a lot of designs, a lot of cool looking different cards that all had, some different elements that people liked. Here in the 2000s, is really just rookies and autographs on game used memorabilia of rookies. So it's a very small subset of cards, which is, around rookies and autographs. So let's go into what really happened between the 90s and 2000s. And I'm using two sets as examples of what really changed. So let's start with the 1999. This is the Metal Universe set. So in 1999, the Metal Universe set was one of the coolest sets ever issued. So in 1999, you had PMGs, you had Gym Master 101s, and then in the insert side, you had linchpins that were 1 in 360 packs. You had Diamond Soul, which is 1 in 72 packs, and Planet Metal, which is kind of like, kind of close to 1 per box, I think. Where they won the 24 pack boxes, so 1 every box and a half. Planet Metal and Boys in the Wood were kind of 1 every box, kind of insert. The only autograph set in the 99 Metal Universe set was the J.D. Drew auto, which there was only 35 of them. So really, the autographs weren't the real draw. It was the PMGs, the Gym Masters, and the linchpins were what people were really chasing, and they were very cool looking cards. You can get down here to kind of what they look like. So the Neophytes, the Boys in the Wood, Planet Metal, really cool design. That's kind of become a classic design, reused many times. Diamond Soul, which I think is a really cool insert. It's like multicolored, lenticular. It's just a nice looking card. And then you got Linchpins, which is a very popular and very condition sensitive insert. It's very tough. So between the PMGs and the Linchpins, the set itself was basically parallels and cool inserts. Go to 2000. Well, in 2000, what do we have? So this is 2000 Metal, which is, they took the universe off. So that's kind of starting off with that. They felt like they had to make changes. It's now the 2000s. And look at the odds here for the inserts, right? Heavy Metal, 1 in 20. Hit Machines, 1 in 20. Platinum Portraits, 1 in 8. The inserts were easy to get, and they weren't numbered. They got rid of PMGs. It just, they took the set and everything that was popular about the 99 set and just kind of killed it, brought back Platinum Portraits, but in a very neutered form, and really went all in on autographs and base shredders, which is the, the game use insert, and that's what became the hard to hit insert. And so, you've got, hit machines, which are kind of cool, but they didn't put a lot of thought into. Look at the Platinum Portraits. They took something that was, laser cut or had really cool looking design and made it just a very generic looking insert. Very generic. You had the talent show, which to me is kind of nice, but again, not hard to get. But then they spent all the time and effort on base shredders, which is this tiny little memorabilia card. Again, that's just one of those things. And then autographics, which was in a lot of products. So they really neutered the set and they made it very generic. They made it basically all about autographs and memorabilia. Another set, my favorite set from the 90s, 1999 Bowman's Best, which had, started this sort of like crossover, but you had tons of, refractors, atomic refractors, both numbered, atomics to 100. You had the franchise best cards, the future foundation cards, all numbered. You had mirror image cards, refractors, atomic refractors, autograph, game use bats, franchise autographs. So you had a lot of different variety of autographs, refractors, game use cards. all across the board, and a lot of the stuff was numbered. So again, it was very well thought out and executed set with a lot of variety. There's the autograph, or sorry, there's the atomics and the regular refractors, the foundation cards, the mirror image cards, and then you get the autographs and the locker room cards, game use cards. So again, very, very well-rounded set. So if you want to chase parallels, if you want to chase autographs, if you want to chase game use, you could do it all in 99. 2000, they said, let's do away with all those refractors. We're only going to number one set, which is the rookie set. And, we're going to make the big chase now, the autographs, and that's it. And, and then every card kind of has a refractor finish. So it's like, if you like refractors, every card's a refractor. Well, if everything's a refractor, then nothing's a refractor for the most part, because they're not unique. They're not a parallel at this point. They're just the base card now. And then you can see that they really didn't do much on design-wise on these game use cards and autographs, just very generic looking cards. Nothing to get excited about. So I'm going to pause there for a second and just kind of reflect on, what these two sets really illustrate. They illustrate the fact, just like we saw with the pricing difference between the 99s and 2000s, was that manufacturers got the feeling from collectors and dealers that autographs and game use were the big hits, were what everyone wanted. The inserts were just kind of like there. You can see that, look at the ratios again for this set. Very easy to get compared to years past. You don't see a 1 in 288 insert or a 1 in 800 pack insert or a 1 in 72 pack insert. You see inserts are very easy to get because all the big chase is in the autographs and jersey cards, right? Game use cards. And I lived through this decade. I lived through these cards, and I remember having these conversations with dealers and other collectors, and it basically boiled down to this: that autographs and game used had a collectability that was built in, right? That was easy to define. I get a piece of a jersey from a game used, uniform that has some material value, some real value, whereas an insert set is just, you can make that same insert set year after year. You could, that insert set has no real inherent collectability other than how cool it looks. And then autographs are autographs. Everyone loves autographs, right? And that's what the manufacturers saw. They saw that collectors really valued those autographs and game use cards. That's what they wanted. And so they really changed in the 2000s to just provide those kind of hits. And then 2001 Bowman Chrome hit. And all of a sudden now we've got autograph rookie cards. Again, you got SP refractors, autograph rookie refractors, and then you had the Pujols rookie. So again, there's the elusive rookie refractors. You've got the autograph refractors. You've got the Ichiro redemption refractor. So you've got the gold refractors. So you've got basically this great, the Pujols exchange, refractor. Again, the Pujols became one of the, biggest cards in the hobby, and it's still a big card, but for a long time it was the Mike Trout, the Ohtani. It was the card to have in the hobby. It was basically, considered like the modern day version of the Mickey Mantle card. Because, and again, the reason why everyone went so crazy for it was hand numbered to 500. So it was numbered. It was, refractor. It was autographed, right? And so this was the new change. It was now rookie cards have to be numbered. They have to be, autographed. They have to be, refractors. They have to have something cool about them other than just being a card. And this really changed how everyone looked at rookie cards and how everyone looked at the hobby. So it's hard to underestimate how this changed everyone's mindsets in the 2000s to now. This is still the major way we collect. We collect, Bowman Chrome autograph rookie cards. We collect, game use autograph cards. Think about football. How many RPAs, basketball RPAs? We still collect this way. The 2000s is when we switched from kind of having this very diverse type of collecting to, this basically it's either going to be an autograph or game used card or a rookie card, most likely a rookie card auto or a game used rookie card auto. So that's really what became collectible. And then everything else became uncollectible. All the inserts, all the base cards, everything that wasn't an autograph game used or a rookie game used card autograph became just, non-collectible. And that's really what I think hurt the 90s or hurt the 2000s when we look back on it. Because all of a sudden, 99% of those rookie autos, failed or are failed prospects. And the designs became so boring because who cared about what that card looked like as long as it had an autograph or a piece of a jersey on it? So the design of those cards were very ugly. You saw some examples of what those cards looked like. Some sets, now I'm not saying that all autograph sets were ugly in the 2010s, but a majority of the design, was, cut and paste. And the 90s had, when people look back now on those sets, they see how the 90s, just had this plethora of cool design and uniqueness that was never been repeated. I've said this a lot, like embossed refractors were only done 1 year. PMGs had like a very limited run of when they existed. And so that makes those cards kind of special because they weren't done again, like, ad nauseum, like, and maybe that's why some of those sets have become so iconic. Crusades were really around for 1998. They've done them in other years, but really the 98 set's the only one people care about, right? And so the other thing that happened is competition was cut dramatically when Fleer went bankrupt, Skybox, was sold, and Upper Deck lost their license, right? All of a sudden, you had, all these sets and designs that just went away because those manufacturers either went away or lost the license. So if you look at 2001, you can see you have, Bowman starting to branch out to Bowman Chrome, Bowman Heritage, Bowman Spec, Bowman's Draft Picks. So you start seeing Bowman becoming this big, brand right in 2000, 2001. But you still have Fleer Authentics, or sorry, Fleer Authority, Fleer Autographics. You have, Fleer Legacy, Fleer Platinum. So you still have a lot of Fleer cards being made. But you lost Fleer Brilliance. You lost Fleer Mystique. Two sets that generated a ton of great looking cards in the 90s that became big time insert sets are gone by 2001. We've already seen the switch to Fleer Game Time, Feel the Game, Autographics, or sorry, Authority, which are all big, sets that, want to have or have autographs and game use cards like Feel the Game. It had already started, and we saw some 2000 sets, but 2001, it just the hobby just immediately switched to this new model of what was popular. But you got, SP Game Bat Edition, Game Bat Milestone, Game Used, Legendary Cuts. Again, sweet spot. All about autographs, all about game used, right? But look how many sets there are. There's just tons. Look how many sets Upper Deck has. Just tons of sets from Fleer, Upper Deck. We lost Skybox, right? But, you still have Donners making sets, right? You go to 2006, and this is right after bankruptcy. Upper Deck has bought, the remains of Fleer, and you got, what? Fleer, Showcase, Fleer, and Fleer Tradition. 3 Fleer sets. Okay, even SP's down to just 3 sets. Upper Deck is down to just a few sets here. Things are starting to look bad, right? This is the contraction years. This is when everyone's kind of losing money. And competition is really starting to go down. Bowman now has, Sterling and Original. So Bowman's still growing. Because, again, rookies are very popular. So sets focus on rookies, game used, and autographs are still pretty popular. Topps comes out with Allen and Ginter for the first year. So you're seeing this big switch still happening in this, this space, but you're seeing lots of contraction. A lot of cool sets are going away. And then in 2010, look at this list. I mean, you have the Bowman sets, but no Upper Deck for the most part. These are the last years for Upper Deck. You don't have Fleer. You don't have much left. You have some top sets, Bowman sets, but man, it's really contracted. You have lost all of these legacy brands. You have one Donner set kind of hanging out there, but it's going to be gone. Upper Deck's going to be gone after this year. It's just a really sad story when you saw like a lot of the sets from the 90s that people love are just gone. Those sets are gone. Those kind of cards are gone. So when people look back at the 90s versus 2000s, they're saying this. Well, in the 2000s, the biggest cards that were made were Bowman Chrome autos. They're still around. People are still making those cards. They look at, autographs. There's tons of autograph sets, tons of game user jersey sets, tons of game use autograph sets and rookie sets. That's all still being made. So there is nothing kind of lost. But when you go back to the 90s, look at all those sets that are gone. All the things I mentioned, PMGs, Flair Brilliance, Flair Mystique, all these sets that just don't exist anymore. The insert sets established, that set never had another print run. You had the original Donner's Preferred and the metal cards from that set, 2-year run. PMGs is like a 3-year run. So again, that's what you see when people look back on the 90s is stuff that just isn't being made anymore. And, we could go on and on, Stars and Steel, the gold holographic cards. It's just there's so many sets that were made in the 90s that only had 1 or 2 year runs because of this contraction that happened early in the 2000s. And so when we look back on nostalgia, that's what we see. We see like those sets, those products, only existed for a short amount of time. And let's just be honest, those designs were very cool. You had so much competition in that time period that companies like Skybox and Fleer and Upper Deck and Topps all had to do crazy stuff to make their cards look cool because there were so many things going on, so much design, so much competition that people had to do something unique to make their cards stand out. And then in the 2000s rolled around, you slap an autograph, you put a game used patch on there, and you called it a day. And I think that laziness carried over for a long time. And maybe we're coming out of it because I see some newer designs and newer sets that look pretty cool. From Topps, there seems like they're kind of coming out of that stupor, but it took a long time. And I think that's why the 2000s aren't seen as fond. We don't have nostalgia for the 2000s because it looks bland and boring. Outside of Bowman Chrome and some autograph cards, there was very little going on that seemed really cool. But if you dig deep, and I'm going to say this, if you dig deep in the 2000s, especially that first 4 or 5 years when you still had Flair and you still had Upper Deck, there are really cool sets out there. There's really cool cards, but they're not worth as much. So Griffey's a red, it changed that, the Griffey card values tremendously. So there's still stuff out there. I would recommend people to dive deep in the 2000s because they're very cheap compared to the 90s cards. But I will agree 1,000% that, without that competition, without those sets, basically being around, the 90s cards just look better. They look cooler. And that's what people remember as being unique. They are unique. You didn't see them again in the 2000s for the most part. And, and that's what people really want now because they go back and look at it and say, look, I can get autograph cards, in a lot of places, but I can't get that Mystique card. I can't get that established card. I can't get some of those refractor cards that only existed during that time period. So that's my take on why the 2000s and even 2010 cards are just not seen as nostalgic or as cool as the 90s cards. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you lived through it, what was your experience? I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.